there folks, and welcome back to Space Engineers. They have added some fun new things in this update. As you can see, you can now color your lights, which can actually be pretty useful in some situations. I haven't actually used it yet, but I have some cool plans for it in the future, other than this cool little rave room. Also, they have added doors, well, functional doors. So now you just press K and you can open and close them. And you guys might realize that this isn't one of my normal ships, and I'll show you what it is in just a little bit. Right now I'm in the deep internal workings of it. So, let's just fly on out of here and show you this thing. Well, there we go. That's our old frigate, and this is our Corvette. It's a little bit faster of a ship, and it's not as well armed, but it actually has quite a bit better armor. It is also fairly hideous looking, but that's because I decided to do something a little different with the design, and I'll show you that in a little bit. But as you can see, the front is kind of reminiscent of that, so you can see they're in the same family of ship design. But the main difference is all of the weapons placement points are heavily armored and heavily defended. So we have some right there. I think there's 4 there, and then we have some up here, and this is our main weapons battery. And then we also have 2 on the back and 2 on the bottom, which in this ship there are actually no guns on the bottom, so it's a fairly weak spot. Despite this thing will have fighters, so that'll help with defending the bottom, but because this ship does not have a hangar bay, we had to improvise and put some bottom-facing turrets. I believe this ship has 14 missile launchers and 26 Gatling guns. This one only has 6 Gatling guns, but it does still have 14 missile launchers. So as you can tell, it's not as well armed, but it is quite a bit quicker. And the reason it looks so hideous is I decided to make the internal workings of the ship first, and then put a shell around it, or a armored shell. And actually, the armored shell is always at least 4 or 5 blocks away from the interior workings of the ship, so that means you can get hit with a missile right on the outside of the ship and nothing will happen to your crew compartment, which will greatly increase the survivability of missile impacts on this ship. Well, that is until they change the missile dynamics, which I heard they probably will. The devs said either they're going to see how the heavy armor works out, or they're going to change the missile impacting, because they do realize it's a bit overpowered at the moment. And here we go. This is our first area. This is our airlock. And these blue floors just indicate that this is a hallway to an airlock or to space. And here we have our main hallway. Let's just head on over here. This is the very front of the ship right here. It has our medical bay, and that's about it. And it's very heavily armored. I tried to get through with some missiles, and it took around 6 missiles to actually breach this area, so it's fairly well defended, which is good because that's probably going to be your respawn point in multiplayer. If you get killed, you're probably going to respawn at these medical areas, so you're going to want to have those well defended. And also, this is a very well defended area of the ship, and this is where we have our assemblers and our cargo containers, so if we take damage we can always repair. And then we have some backup generators and whatnot. Oh, saving. These ladders, we'll show you in a little bit, they go down to some firing stations. This also goes down to a firing station. Here, let's just open this door. This is essentially a mirrored hallway of the one that we went down before. And this is another walkway that goes out to space, and once we open this door, you'll see exactly where we are. See, we flew in that way, and then we went around. So this kind of makes a little circle. And up here is the bridge. couple little extra things just in case. And we have our 2 little piloting chairs. And let's zoom out, and this thing is very maneuverable for such a big ship. And it's also pretty quick too. It's a lot quicker than the frigate, but Corvettes are usually faster and more lightly armored and more lightly armed than frigates, so that would make sense. Alright. Let's turn our jetpack off. And then we'll head down into the engineering section, which are designated by these little green blocks. And the red blocks are 2 areas that are firing stations, so here's more engineering back here. So here we have our large nuclear reactors, and because the nuclear reactors are going to take nuclear pellets, what we have down here is a cargo container with a conveyor. So what we'll do is we'll feed extra uranium pellets in here, which will feed them to the extra power plants in our generators, and it's the same thing mirrored on this side. And then in here we have our gyroscope room. This is also a fairly heavily armored area of the ship as well. And then we can also go up here, and this is just a second layer of the gyroscope room to give us more maneuverability. Alright, and now we'll show you the firing positions on this ship. The first one is, well, let me just take the easy way up. This is where the disco room was, or the rave room. Usually this will be blocked off. The only reason we have a door there is so if we take damage to the outside we can repair it, and we can still have a pressured air compartment. And then here, we just go up even further. And here we are on the main firing deck. And every single one of these firing stations are separated by a door to prevent easy boarding. And there's another one of those Corvettes off in the distance. And it goes on like this for, I think, 4 or 5. And same thing, it's mirrored on each side, so. And we'll just go and show you what the very front station looks like. And I put this here so in case you want to have a couple extra people with guns here firing out to prevent boarders, that gives them a little bit of cover. Also, it does make it harder to board with those little walls there. Okay, just one more wall to go through if I'm not mistaken. Oh, make that 2. Whoops. Yep, here we go. This is the forward firing station. It looks a little bit different. It's a little bit more heavily armored. And this allows us to chase other ships, chase other capital ships, and still fire on them. So that's where we were at the top of the ship. Also, I recessed the bridge a little bit so it's a little bit harder to hit with missiles. So there's all this armor here that you have to go through, or you have to have a very well-placed shot. And that little rave room is somewhere in that area of the ship. In fact, you can, every so often you can see a little light glitch from our rotating lights. But, yep, so that's where that is. Let's just drop down here. And so that's this particular hallway. And now we're going to show you the other hallway. We have this one right here, which goes down to our bottom deck. And this one goes down to the, well, it's also a bottom deck, but it's not quite. And also, as you can see, red block designates a firing station. And this is quite a labyrinth inside, so it's going to be hard for boarders to try to figure out where they're going. So I kind of intentionally did that. I could have made everything nice straight lines, but I didn't really want to. And also, we have a door. So if a boarder boards, they'll have to go through the door before they can get into the interior of the ship. And here, this is just the firing station right here and right here. And you saw those staircases on the other side. They're pretty much mirrored. So we'll just go down the staircase that's next to this, and this will lead us to the Gatling station at the front of the ship. And here we are. And that's where we are, and we were just there. So let's give you a little view of the bottom of the ship yet. I don't think I've done that. And we still have to go to those two stations, so we'll do that in a little bit. Oh, I don't want to do that. I probably could put more turrets on the bottom, but I gotta have some place for them to shoot. Alright, now let's take a look at the last firing station. Which is over here. Let's drop down here. And open the door. And yes, there's a double door. In case this area is breached, we have an airlock. And here we are. This is the bottom station. And we have these to help defend as well. And then it's... I think I accidentally walled it off, but you should be able to get through to the other side. Yep. And as you can see, I have a couple extra generators here just in case. And here we go. Hey, I know this is a pretty hideous looking ship, but it is actually quite well armored, and I'm interested to see how it will do in combat. In fact, yep, every once in a while there's still a glitch where the door thinks it's closed, so I have to do close, open. There you go. Well, did it with that one too. But they just released this patch, so I'm not too terribly surprised. I'm just glad that they're updating it every week. That's very nice. And this one did it again. I think that does that every time it auto-saves, but I'm not entirely sure. Yep. In fact, I'm going to just... there'll be a shortcut in the video, and then we'll show you how durable this thing is. See you in a bit. Alright, we are back, and here's my little missile ship that I just built. It does the job. So, as you kind of can tell, let's go on the outside view of this. Each missile looks like it has 4 missiles, and then you're going to have probably ammunition pods on the side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire 4 missiles apiece, so that's a total of 8 missiles. And then we'll see how much damage we can do with 8 missiles. Because that's probably how much you're going to be able to shoot without having to reload. So, whoops, I suppose I better select my missiles first. So that's 2 missiles, 4 missiles, 6 missiles, and let's try to shoot the door. 8 missiles. Alright. Let's see what kind of damage we did. Well, it looks like we breached our engine room. But I think that's about it. Let's take a look and see how the interior of the ship is doing. This hallway seems to be doing just fine. And, yep, still got that glitch going on. Come on. Open for me. Okay, don't want to open? I can solve that. Let's see here. Yes, this part of the ship seems to be doing just fine. This hallway is a bit dented, but I don't think it's breached. Let's fall down here. As it looks like this section of the ship might be alright too. Which is good. That means the survivability on the ship is a lot better than my other one. My other one has a lot of firepower and that can take a lot of damage and still, you know, fly, but the people on the ship, well, yeah, good luck for them, because there's pretty much little to no armor. Let's see here. Yeah, there's really no damage to this thing other than it looks like an engineering. Let's take a look at the bridge. Just fine. And in engineering, yep, this is where that hole is. So we would have one depressurized section. Let's see if any damage is in the gyroscope control area. A little bit of dents there, but nothing too fatal. That gyroscope might be toast, but it looks like this room would still be pressurized. So that's cool. Oops, come on, fall. There we go. And just for a comparison, we'll shoot my other ship 8 times just so you can see what kind of damage it would do to that. And this thing is still going to be perfectly flyable. I don't think we took out any engines. And here you can kind of see my design. These interior walls are the interior of the ship, and the exterior wall did a very good job of preventing this from taking damage. And here we have some engines and whatnot. We'll fly around the inside caverns of the ship. Our disco room is still there, I guess. Oh, nice. Yep. Alright, let's fly around here and we'll shoot 8 shots at the heavy frigate and kind of show you what damage that does to it. I mean, sometimes you get lucky and you hit one of those spars that are supposed to prevent missiles from hitting the interior of the ship, but they don't always work. Well, that kind of glitched through for some reason. There's 1. There's 4. There's 6. And there's 8. Oops, not what I wanted to do. There we go. So, yeah, we pretty much blew off that firing deck. And the hangar bay, well, the hangar bay is alright, I guess. If there were any ships in here that might be damaged, but they're not. And also, you can kind of tell what the ship looks like now with all the doors closed. Whoops. There we go. I don't think we did any damage to this particular area of the ship. Actually, no, we did. Which means we'll go upstairs and take a look. So far this is still pressurized, which is nice. This area would be... or no, it wouldn't. So this has a gaping hole in it. So that's a kind of big flaw in the design of this ship, is that with the missiles currently the way they are, they can do a lot of damage to it. And other than that, I don't think I did too much damage, so... we'll just fly up here and take a look. So we had 1 hit there, 1 hit there. Where's the other hit? Here. And it doesn't look like it breached. Actually, it does look like it breached the control room. And where's that other shot that I fired? I must have shot 2 somewhere in the same area. Anyhow, that's it for this update, and that's it for this hideous looking ship, but it does the trick. So, that'll be it for this episode. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you next time.